Okay, we should be live once again. But I cannot tell whether we are live on our own channel or not. Are we on the air? Apologize for the technical difficulties. We are not on the air on the Teague's Take channel. So there we go. Should be going live any second now. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now I got to pop out chat and make sure that everybody can interact with us as we get going today. So my fault, BEM Standard. My fault, BEM Standard. I hit the wrong button. But today's show is going to be a little bit different. So with that said, you're going to see some live editing going on today. George is not here. He is doing the program work. We haven't been on in a while, so if you haven't seen us, usually George Teague is the one hosting and giving us the intro, but he is at a he's at the school today trying to talk to some prospective students coming in. So we will we'll have to do this without him. So today we're going to be talking about Ryan Grubb and kind of just revisiting what it is that he does. Because if you guys remember, he came in from Washington, was here for about 7 days, maybe, and then took the Seattle job, and then he was let go after one season in Seattle. Coaches typically learn a lot when they go when they switch leagues like that. There's a lot of learning, trial by fire, things like that. But I kind of just want to look at what he did in Seattle to then try to gauge what we might see here. Now, a while ago, we broke down some Washington film from 23. But again, 2 years later, we're going to talk about what it is that he's been doing in Seattle. Some of the qualms that everybody said were, he's not running the ball enough, things like that. I think I kind of understand why now, looking at the numbers, and I kind of want to share those with you. And we have a special guest. It isn't just me. We do have former OC Nick Granado. I'll bring him in just a second. And then later on in the show, you'll see me trying to put up some NFL film for us to go through. So with that, let's start the intro. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring us in here. That is not George Teague, so pay no mind to that. But I'll try to figure out where that is. Why is? There we go. We'll fix that. Live editing on the fly. I'm sorry. But Nick, so I haven't shown you these numbers yet. We kind of put this together. Well, actually, I informed you last minute. I was looking at this earlier today, and I think I probably texted you probably about 4 something and was like, hey, I know we were going to talk about quarters, but we got a new OC, and I remembered I have access to some NFL film and some insights. So started putting that together. So I'm going to give you some numbers, and we can talk about maybe what we would expect. But first, maybe I just want to get your take on, like, How did you feel about the Seahawks this year, just in general?
Um, yeah, I mean, I when you told me when you told me we were going to talk about Ryan Grubb and stuff, I immediately got excited. I know how much he likes to throw the football. I know how much he likes his screens and stuff. So um, it just definitely seemed like maybe it was a. I know Coach McDonald might have said it. It was like a vision thing. And it could just be different leagues. Different as you mentioned. Switching the level up. So as far as any fantasy football fans, it seemed like Geno Smith was on fire and lighting it up, but it doesn't seem like that's the core philosophy of kind of what they want to do up in Seattle. They want to control the clock and run the football a little bit more, and it just seems like maybe Coach Grubb's game kind of suits the college style more. The open space, things like that, and I know we're going to talk numbers and we'll go deep dive, but I wouldn't say his time in Seattle was a failure. Not that anybody is saying that. I just, from an outsider's perspective, it seems as if it just didn't kind of go the way
Mm-hmm.
everyone else wanted. But it seemed like it went his way um, as far as what he wanted to try to do, and you know, revitalized Geno Smith a bit. Kind of reminded us of that. Man, what that 2013. When he was at West Virginia, the high scoring Big 12. So, um, but yeah, I mean that's just my take on it. I like I said, not saying it's a failure, just different vision, different in game type of thing. And I'm personally just excited to see what he can do with that type of talent in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff is great. The ideas X and O's, but as me and you both know, got to have the guys to do it, and definitely will have the guys to do it. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So, Greg Hames. Now, I usually put comments on the screen here, but they're not popping up on the screen for me right now. So, but I can see them. So, Greg Hames asks: Is it in your opinion, run the ball, stop the run, and win the turnover battle? Is that still relevant? Um, I think it is. Now, I think that the idea of what balance in an offense has changed over time, right? Balance doesn't particularly mean truly 50-50, right? If you've seen our show and you've watched us throughout the season, we've always kind of said 60-40 leaning into pass is the new balance. Um, but what I really think balance in an offense is when the defense feels that you can run the ball or throw the ball on any down, regardless of whether your numbers are 60-40 or 50-50 or whatever. Um, so, Greg, do I think it's still relevant? I do. And I'm trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves here because, as Nick was just saying, that Ryan Grubb threw the ball a lot in Seattle, and I saw a stat that kind of led me to think of like maybe why that happened. Um, so week 17 pregame, NFL Insights had done some numbers, and one of the fact lines they put out was the Seahawks have allowed contact behind the line of scrimmage on 51.5% of their designed carries and have only generated zero point 0.3 yards before carry or before contact per carry this season. And that's the second highest contact rate and the fewest yards before contact in the league. So what that tells me is like, even when they were trying to run the ball, whoever it was, whether it was Kenneth Walker or any of the other backs, they're getting hit in the backfield before they even start going. Um, which I think, we can talk about like what was the skill on the offensive line, who's the offensive line coach, all that kind of stuff. But I think when you're having that kind of issue where half of your runs you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, it makes it really difficult to then try still commit to the run. So it also says they allow contact behind the line of scrimmage on 42.2% of their carries and generated 1.2 yards before contact per carry last season. So it wasn't good before he got there. It got worse. But that's more than half the time if you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. You kind of, it's natural to start abandoning it. Now, whether he should have or not is not my call to say. It's the head coach, and the head coach said probably should have been running the ball anyway. Like you said, a difference in vision, right, and what they wanted the offense to be. So I'm just putting that as it is what it is on that. You got anything to add there about struggling to run the ball like that?
I mean, I know they had a lot of injuries, inconsistencies. I mean, you got to have players to play, right? I mean, that's the first thing. So when that happens, again, I'm not speaking for Coach Grubb, but I mean, I know at least in my opinion on how I want my offense to flow. I think we're a little bit similar. He does like to throw the ball and lean on the pass and strategically run the ball. Whether we say it's balanced or not, that's up for debate. We all know that, but I know it's not that he hates running the ball, but now you add in the limited space with the hashes. You add in the different types of athletes, the speed, and then you immediately fall into inconsistent line play where you immediately lose. I mean, what didn't one of his linemen retire early? Had the other, I think Lucas had early injuries, right? So you're already now, if it's something that it's not your, we're not Derrick Henry out there. We're not like running the ball like the Ravens, right? So like it already isn't a focal point, and now you add in just the inconsistencies on the O line, and I'm sure that played a factor into all that. So, none really different. Just trying to play devil's advocate on what really happened up there, and yeah, I mean, like we've already said,
And Brandon James says garbage run game, but still went 10-7, which is true.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
It wasn't. Maybe it's not the season that they were all looking for, but again, when you're reading things that say that even your starting back, Kenneth Walker, is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage 55% of the time, and he's just making people miss, 37% of the time, it's like, how good is it really? So, I don't want to bring the narrative that Alabama has another coordinator that refuses to run the ball. I don't think that's the case. I think they just weren't particularly good at it. And we can still debate on Alabama on whether how good was our run game truly. I feel like we should have ran the ball more too, but again, I'm not the one in the room, and they're making those kind of decisions too. So, all right, so let's move on a little bit. I wanted to look at their offensive groupings, which was, I don't know if it should have been shocking to me considering it's the NFL. But they were in 11 personnel a lot. Like 78% of the time, 77% of the time. Which I feel like maybe that's not always true in college, but you've always got a tight end in the NFL, right? Like there's no teams that are just like, hey, we don't have a guy who can play tight end. So, being a high school coach and things like that, a lot of teams live in 10 because they don't have tight ends. But maybe 78% of the time being in 11 personnel shouldn't shock me as an NFL team. Oh, and I'm glad I'm going back. I'm getting my notes here. You were talking about offensive line being hurt and whatnot. The Seahawks used 9 unique combinations of offensive linemen this season. 7th most in the NFL, which is quite a bit. Um, but anyway, that's me going back on that.
No, it's a lot.
7-8% of the time they were in 11 personnel. Again, that's one back, one tight end. 17% is 12 personnel, so one back, two tight end. If you're playing the game at home, we're at like 84% right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 94% is one or two tight ends in the game. And then they had like 12 plays, I think, where they were in 21 personnel, two backs, one tight end. Another five where they had where it was 22. But as you scroll over and you're looking at all this stuff, um, I think they were in 10 personnel for the entire season one time.
See, that's a shocker right there because I know just looking at his 2023 stuff from Washington. I mean, I believe if I mean I might be misspeaking. They led the NCAA in 10 personnel. I think it was 47%. So
Really?
again,
Okay.
going into his philosophy, right? He clearly loves 10, and he didn't even line up. He didn't even put out there that package that's his favorite package. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, we're in territory where it's not his cup of tea. Not saying it's the wrong fit, but just like we're already now operating at a level that it's not the norm compared to his
Mm-hmm.
all of his previous stops where he loves 10, 10, 10, 10. So that right there is shocking. Yeah, I was waiting for you to. How many times did he do 10? So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Just
very very reversed for him.
just the one time, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. Uh, I don't know that I'm in any position to disagree with that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so then I started looking at their team offense, um, like their passing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of it's all like how many dropbacks, touchdowns, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. Um, but what I really wanted to look at was like the tendencies and to see if that kind of changed a little bit. And they broke it down to um, what percentage of the passes were short, medium, and deep. Um, were they in the seams, on the numbers, out wide? Uh, so we'll give it 45% of their passes were short. And I think our viewers would remember the first time we broke them down at Washington. Michael Penix's best, I don't know if I should say best, but like most of his throws were hitches. And we were talking about this the other night. See a hitch, throw a hitch. It's like it's there. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There's your short game. Those hitches and slants, quick timing routes were a big deal at Washington. He was doing a very good job with that. And it seems that that's kind of what they were doing here. A lot of his balls went into the seam too. So seam routes, probably inside hitches too. Um, and they got into the backfield a little bit as well. So about 18% of the time. So they are using the backs in the pass game. And I wonder, so it has a tab for routes here. I didn't click on that earlier, but I may check that out. So the drop back tendencies, they were getting blitzed about a fifth of the time, which I think is about average. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're in shotgun most of the time, 90% of the time. So if you're looking for a pro style as an under center style offense at Alabama, that's probably not what you're going to get. That was only 10% of the time. So there's things to look at that. not typically surprising. I think we're going to be mostly in gun anyway. I think that's most of the college game. This is probably starting to be most of the NFL game, now too, really.
Mhm.
Route target tendencies. So flats, crossers, and hitches. That makes up it's 13, 10. That's 23, 43. So that's almost half of the passing game right there. Flat routes, crosses, hitches, and then the go ball. Sounds like what I remember from Washington when we did that breakdown. So there's nothing too out of the ordinary there. Wide receiver screens over running back screens. So I don't know if that's going to be your smokes, your jailbreak screens, your tunnel screens. Not too many of the slip screens. It looks like, and I think that's okay. I guess I don't really care what kind of coverages they were getting, but most of the time it was cover 3 and zone. But that's more telling us about the league as a whole.
Mhm.
So the rushing production, as we said, it's not very good. I don't think that's particularly Grubb's fault, but he's the coordinator. So, like I said, we kind of talked about that already.
Mhm.
So what I want to do now is actually try to kind of look at how one game went, at least. If I can
Pull it up.
pull that up. Um, Got to get to the film room. Now, I think I'm going to go to just like week 8. That was kind of like, that's in the middle of the year, right? And I know there's probably some injuries and whatnot, but you should kind of be in the groove. Players should know kind of what's going on, especially with a new coordinator and things like that. So if you give me a second to try to get this on screen for you all. This is Buffalo at Seattle. And I'll have to do a good job of cropping this. So, 2-man film. Let's see what I can do. If I can. Can I just like redraw this box? Is that a possibility? Just say this right here. And hit the plus sign. Boom.
Nice. Cool.
Okay. And then we're going to move that. All right. So I can't, you'll have to let me kind of skip through this stuff. Can't filter by offense, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
we kind
Gotcha.
of just have to go through the whole game here. But we can already see we're starting off the game in 12 personnel, right? We've got 2 tight ends down here at the bottom. And my guess is per percentage is probably going to be something short. And it looked like it probably was. But we're already getting people in the face, right? And this was kind of a recurring problem for the Seahawks. But again, I kind of want to. The harder thing to do here is pick apart the offense to get to know what they do without actually like criticizing the Seahawks play, right? We're trying to look at things like scheme and what we're doing. So that's a P and 10 possession and 10 play here. Still more motion, and I think Bama fans might like this At least this idea that, we got people moving around all the time. Right?
These are the first 2 plays of the game.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty indicative that, we're two first are under center, I mean, that's also not the norm for him either.
Yeah,
So
you're just get into your script is what you're saying early.
yeah, I don't have how much he was in gun at Washington, but I'd be hard to find the Washington plays where the first 2 plays were under center,
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I like this too. I like the shifts, which I think we would have expected to see more from at Alabama. We saw it in the spring game. That's what I was really excited about. I think we saw a masterful call by Nick Sheridan during the Wisconsin game. I remember kind of making that observation of like, hey, yeah, that we beat the brakes off of Wisconsin that week, but the scheme he was dialing up plays. He was in his bag then. It wasn't necessarily all that Alabama was just better. Like, I think all around the coaching during that week was better. The players were probably better as well. But this was, as the season went on, these are the things that we kind of missed, was the shifts and the motions and things like that. Now, I don't know that we really like this one all too much. This is essentially all hitches, 3rd and 9. But again, I don't know if he's a script guy, right? And that's just like, that was the next thing on the script. If he's a who is it? Is it Shanahan? That would script out 15 and like never deviate.
Yeah, Shanahan's all your West Coast guys. I mean, Bill Walsh, stuff like that. So
Let's get through Buffalo's possession here. God forbid it's an 18-play possession, and
it's kind of stuff you want to see. 18 plays. Bill's DC was happy. Head coach was happy.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that I can't like cut this up. I have to like actually step through.
Yeah.
Oh, but that was a big ball they just threw. And we're gonna go touchdown, 7-0. Okay, so now we got the ball back, and we're down. They took damn near the rest of the quarter. We got 4 minutes left in the first. And here we are, kind of back in pistol. You got a tight end out wide, more motion. And, this is just more of the same that we've been talking about. Just
Hard to get started.
some outside zone, I think. I don't think anybody's pulling here. Oh, no, it's power. It's power. Oh, well, my dad's going to like that. Getting more power into the offense. But we got to get a little bit skinny here. Everybody's fast in the NFL. Can't just be running outside of guys anymore. That doesn't. But you can see, like, the use of the time. Have we seen a play that didn't have motion yet? Or some kind of shift?
No. And tight end's usually the one that seems to be moving. So, but it seems to be that's their second jet motion.
Yep.
First drive they did it on 2nd down. They do it on 2nd down again.
Yep. So this is empty, and I know the Seahawks were high and empty too.
Okay.
They were again. It's kind of tricky because it's 11 personnel. It's not zero, right? They're keeping the tight end on the field, but I think they were the second highest getting into empty. But even here, they're presenting empty, and it still looks like we're going to get, yep, a shift. And I'd like to know, for those of you in the comments, like, how do you feel about seeing a lot of pre-snap motion and shifts and things like this? Is that something you think is going to be good for us offensively next year? And this is interesting because we're talking about the O line, and this is kind of
Hmm.
what I like. If you're having problems blocking up front with your O line and things like that, uh, being able to problem solve is a big thing for me. And you notice what he does here. They get him in empty, present him something that they're going to think they're going to have to be in coverage. Maybe they know, I don't know what the Bills are trying to do typically. I don't know if they're like, hey, they're in empty, we're going to drop more into coverage because it's 3rd and 8, or if they're of the Spagnola type where it's like, it's 3rd down, I
We
don't
coming.
care, we coming kind of deal. But they know they're struggling. So they show the empty look, they move 2 guys in, and they help their linemen out. They just max protect. And they got 7 guys in the protection here. Um, and I don't know if we truly saw that kind of problem solving from Sheridan last year of like, hey, it's not going the way that we need it to go. So let's, because there's halftime adjustments, sure, but there's also in game adjustments. And it's like right now we already know here's something in our toolbox that we can help. Let's see if the Seahawks can get off the field. The answer is no, because they're about to throw another bomb. Oh, it was incomplete. Look at that. 3rd and 15, 4th and 2, and punt. All right, backed up inside the 10, empty again. Want to guess whether we're going to get motion or not? What do we think?
Has to.
Yep, pulling the back in.
Yep.
Single man route penalty on Seattle. An eligible man downfield. So was this an RPO that we just ran? It was. So RPOs are still on the table. It's 1st and 14. No motion. Hey, there's your. Is this the only 10p that we're gonna get? Is that it right here?
Is this the one you said one time all season? You picked the game.
Yeah,
This is it.
according to the stat that they got on here on next gen. Maybe I picked it out right there.
Let's see.
Hey, but this is exactly. I think this is very. This is almost very indicative of what Ryan Grubb wants to do at Alabama.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, that was the most comfortable Geno looked out of all these plays we've watched so far. I mean, look how he threw the ball on time.
Yeah, it's in
I
rhythm.
mean,
It's still all hitches. Well, I guess it's out routes
yeah,
over here, but it's like, hey, that's
little
that's what Michael Penix almost won a Heisman doing.
yeah. I mean, hitch hit short stuff, screens, RPOs, and then take the shot deep in out of 10 personnel. Little all Omaha for the West Coast fans watching. We'll stick inside and then 5 and outs by number ones. That's pretty
Mhm.
good.
More motion.
Motion in the bunch. Okay.
Is that what happened here? I really do not like the interface for this. Yep.
He does like bunch. I mean, I'd say I don't know. I'd love to peek behind the curtain. Like, what happened? Third drive is like, all right. I'm just gonna call my Washington stuff because this. So let's see.
I think this is probably a run. Yeah, we're bouncing stuff though. Like,
Oh,
hey, so this is a common problem that we had at Alabama too, of just like instead of trying to get some, just trying to get tough yards, we're trying to run around people and get nothing. Hopefully, we can solve that. Okay, more two back, but still we're still moving people around. We're not going to sit static and let people attack us. All right, so we're making an audible here. Not 10 personnel, but 4 wide. More short stuff. Easy money. No huddle.
what's the clock at?
12:56 in the second.
Okay,
More play action. Yeah.
that's good.
I think his offense is, I don't know if conservative is the right word, but the idea is to be highly efficient.
Yeah, I don't, I don't, I don't think it's reckless. I think I don't know. Like sometimes when people talk air raid, it's a little reckless, and I don't. It doesn't look like that's what he does, and that's what
Is he
his
an air
intent
raid
is.
guy? Is that what you would consider his offense?
I would. I mean, I guess when you look at the numbers, like his college stuff, I mean, and how they like to throw deep, I would kind of classify that as air raid and how much RPOs and screens that they do. I mean, it's honestly really no different than what Sonny Dykes likes to do with TCU, and
Yeah,
Sonny
he's an air raid
Dykes
guy.
is an air raid guy, so it's like getting Sonny Dykes to, hey man, let's go under center and run the ball. It's like what? No, man, we're gonna throw the football. We're gonna hit these crossers. We're gonna fake the jet sweep. So I mean, how often do you see that in the NFL? Faking a jet sweep, hitting the crosser. So, but it's efficient, definitely. Safe throws and
All right, so check this out here. So
oh
this is
yeah, I
another
love
thing
this.
that we got a little used to seeing. Not quite like this, but quads nonetheless.
And that's a back. That's a back out wide, right? Number 4. That's Walker, right? So
Yeah, I
I'm
think that's
watching on my
Kennedy's
phone.
number 9. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I think that's him. I'm gonna have more motion, get back to a regular empty set. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's Kenneth Walker out there, and then we've got a little Y screen there. It's not actually the Y, but
Yeah, yeah.
first and 5. Bama Man says it reminds me of a spread scheme when he was at Washington. Yeah, power spread. I like that. Now, in his last year in Washington, I don't think they ran a lot of power. I think they ran a lot of inside zone, but that could have been just the personnel that they had. The type of backs and the type of that last year. I'm not saying that he never ran power at Washington, but that year that we looked at, I think it was a lot more zone. But I think I like I like power spread as a characterization of that too.
Yeah, I'd like to see how much power he ran. Not that I don't believe he didn't, but I just know he. Yeah, it was a lot of inside outside zone, and then trickled in with some counter. which
Well,
again
yeah, he was.
also. Hmm?
Well, because there was at one point that Penix was actually running the ball a whole lot more, and then that year that they made that run to the playoffs, Penix was not running the ball nearly as much. So I wonder, previously, if when they were getting him involved, if that had some more power counter stuff in it too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, because there's some more inside zone right there, and
Gosh.
so they have this marked for me. Uh, you guys can't see it, but it tells me like, oh Jesus Christ, is that the next play? It tells me like when the ball snap, when the handoff is, when first contact is. So it kind of makes it very easy to like pause and again like the ball is on the 2 here, and we're getting hit at the 5. I'm not asking you to be better. I'm just asking you to do better. Then we get a ball snapped over the head. Can't even throw the ball away.
Jeez.
What was that? That's like a loss of. That was a loss of 19 yards. So now it's 3rd and 22. Then there's no play here because then we get a delay of game. 3rd and 27. 3rd and goal from the 27. So we get back and empty. We're gonna get a little bit more motion. Throw a screen because they're gonna drop 8. What do you do?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get through the half on this. We're almost at an hour. Then we'll talk a little bit of. Wait, hold on. What happened here? It's going too fast. We had an interception. Hey, that's our guy, Alabama alum Josh Jobe.
Oh, right on.
Getting the interception, bringing it down to the 5 or the 7, according to this. All right, so we got the ball. What kind of run play are we about to get here? More motion. Love it. Split zone. Pick up 3. Not bad. More shifts. And we're going to run the ball again. Here we go. So what was that? Was that zone? Did we get? Oh, this is a buck sweep? We're pulling both guards here, boys. Oh, yeah. No, if we can get, I would love to get more of this. We'll get both guards pulling. Moving out of the way, some more gap scheme. Just physical running. I think that's going to be beneficial for us here. One more. We're going to get another touch or another handoff, but we're not going to get in. So what do? We're going to Okay, we're gonna go for it. Coach says go for it. We got 51 reporting as eligible, and Gino's gonna get stepped on. And So I mean, you got to look at this kind of stuff, right, and be like, yeah, this is why we're going to throw the ball like 60, 70% of the time, right? Like we're on the
Yeah.
freaking one. Can't even get the ball handed off.
I'm honestly surprised he didn't throw it once at all.
Yeah, you get, man, ugh, I'm already frustrated. Like, bro, we just got an interception, took it back to the 7. We get down to the 1, and we didn't get no points.
Yeah.
3rd and 5. What do we get? First down. Let's see if they're going to get the ball back before half. I don't think they are. And I apologize, folks, if I start over here sweating on camera. My AC is out up here, and I got this big old computer in here trying to do this stream. It's like 85 degrees in here right now.
Jeez, I thought it was a little warm over here, man. You over there like it's July.
Yeah, bro. It's hot up in this. It's hot in here. Okay, so Seattle's gonna get the ball with roughly 18 seconds left, and they're gonna take it in going to halftime. Okay, well, I think that's probably enough for now. Um, for those of you that want to stick around, we do have a little bit of an announcement and things that we're going to talk about here outside of Alabama football, because Teague's Take is going on the road at the end of July. We're going back to Belgium for a football camp. Kind of.
End of June.
Did
End
I
of
say?
June,
Did I
JT.
say July?
Yeah, you said July.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. At the end of June, June 27, 28, or 26, 27.
I give me
That last Saturday, Sunday in June, whichever
yes, the
one that
last
is.
Saturday, Sunday in June, the 28th and 29th.
Um, yeah, we'll be overseas. So I know, I know that there's a portion of you that may not be watching right now, may not be watching live, but will be watching later or listening to us later, that are over there. Not just Belgium, but there's quite a few of you that download the podcast that are in Germany. So I'm giving you the dates. Come see us. Nick will be there. I'll be there. My dad will be there. George. We like to do this. We try to do this every year, to spread the love of the game and the knowledge of the game abroad. Not just we're all here in Texas. Football is everything here. Um, but there's a lot of people overseas that football means a lot to them too. American football, I should say, means a lot to them too. And we want to be able to try to do our part to help grow the game there, and do it the right way. Not just combines per se, but true teaching, fundamentals. We do coaches talks, we do clinics. There's a lot of you that have seen some of the clinics that I've actually posted on the Teague Take channel, talking about run fits and quarters and things like that. Maybe we'll get another one this year. But Nick, I'm giving you the floor here. What would you like to say about the either the camp itself, the Moans Nights? What you got on your mind?
No, I mean, I'm excited. I wasn't able to go last year due to some scheduling issues, but definitely excited to go back. I get to go with you guys, and like you said, I mean, spread the love of the game. It's real over there. A little more grassroots for those already over there. You can understand how it is with your local teams or local country, kind of where you're at, and it's even more so in Belgium. Belgium's a small country, for those that don't know, and but the love for the game is just as big as it is here in Texas. So um, it's always fun to be around like-minded people in the game and continue to learn from each other. I know we got our French coaches that we bonded with the last time, so we got
Mm-hmm.
their knowledge. They do their internships up with the Eagles. So
Yep.
there's some wealth of knowledge there from their time up in Northeast, and we got a
Yeah,
lot of French
we've got
speaking players.
some high
Hmm.
quality guys coming in, guys that have coached at high school level, big high school level here, um, coached in college, coached for, like you said, the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not a huge event, um, as in we're not in this big stadium with tons of kids and all that kind of stuff. But there is a wealth of knowledge. Um, there are guys that know a lot more football than I do too. That are going. Um, so I learn things as we go over there. You know, more than just cultural things and brushing up on my French and things like that. I have learned many other football things, X's and O's, relationship building, all that kind of stuff from coaches at all levels overseas. And anytime that you get to do that, I think is special.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, especially shout out to the Moans Knights. That's where we're going to be. My old team, old stomping grounds, and they're fresh off their Belgian Bowl victory last year. So um, a lot of hype around that. A lot of excitement to have all of us, but you guys back, the Teague State crew, and yeah, I mean, just the city is very excited. So it's the popularity is growing if it wasn't already growing, right? We know what that is, but no, I mean, there's a lot of people excited and hungry for all of us to come back. So I'm pumped. I think about it all the time. So
Yeah, well, it's right. It's right around the corner. It'll be here quicker than you know it. We're still trying to hammer out some of the details, but
mhm.
it's coming up fast. So for those of you in the chat, I do one, I appreciate you, but I want you to leave in the comment box below your thoughts about Ryan Grubb in general, your thoughts about the offense, things you think you may like, things that you think you may not like. Um, but I encourage you to kind of go back and watch at least what we've showed. And if you can get your hands on more, please do. The again, as we were talking about the talking points of like, well, he don't like to run the ball. Um, I think we can. I think we can say with pretty good evidence that it's not that he doesn't like to run the ball, is that they just weren't very good at it. So as much as head coach over there saying we really wish he would run the ball more and things like that, I'm not convinced that he was opposed to it. I think he was not comfortable doing it in that situation, and the head coach probably wanted him to do it a little bit more. And there was a little difference of opinion there. I'm glad to have him. Um, I think that's Coach DeBoer's main man. Well, we know that's his main man, so things should be a bit more comfortable. I think we will get back to seeing what we thought we were going to get from a Kalen DeBoer offense um, from the beginning. Um, with the shifts, the motions, the quads, the getting in the bunch, um, all that window dressing to make reads easier. Um,
Mhm.
we still got to have those pieces that we got to give a quarterback time. We have to actually be able to run the ball. We got to stop missing those blocks when we're pulling. We got to make the right reads. Our tight ends have to actually go and block the right guy. There's plenty of things throughout the season that we pointed out before that were issues. But through that first half that we watched, I still think there were things that he was doing to solve problems that didn't take going into halftime. Ephraim says, go back, watch the Michigan versus Washington game. Okay, hold on. This with the military community. Ephraim asks, is this with the military community? I'm going to say yes and no. Would you like to expand more on that?
Yeah.
He's talking about the camp.
No. Yeah. So we do. It is near Shape. If you're familiar with the Shape, the NATO base there in Belgium, that's where I was stationed when I was there to have the privilege to coach the Knights. So by yes and no, when we were there 2 years ago, you remember JT, we did do the 4th of July event on base, on Shape, fireworks and all, and your dad was there to say hello to all all football fans, right? It's not always Cowboys fans,
Mm-hmm.
So got Cowboys haters too, but everybody was showing love that day just to have everyone loves football, like we already said, and to the note of that, some of those people that met your dad that day are playing now, so that visit did help, bolster some numbers with the military community. So yeah, it is off base, but I mean that the shape is right down the street. So yeah, it is a very military community, and it's since grown. It's since grown the relationship. When I was coaching there in 2018 through 2020, there was the community on base was still very distant. If anything, they probably didn't really know who we were. Now that they've been present and doing what they've been doing for a while. Now we're in 2025. Geez, when you kind of think about it,
Yeah. It's been 7 years
I was
since you started.
yeah, 7 years since I was there trying to get them to get noticed and get over that hump. I mean, the community relations is not that it wasn't good, but it's known now. I mean, I just talked to Frankie the other day, and there's people stationed there. I mean, you got some commanders and stuff that are on board with the support of the Knights. Getting some guys out there, getting some guys from the battalion out there to volunteer and things. So um, that's really exciting. So yes, I didn't really know I don't know if that person was in the military community in Germany, but yes, I mean yeah, it is a yes and no. JT, I mean, what were your kind of thoughts? You being, for me, it's like nothing. That's home for me, but you being doing the camp is one thing, another country is another thing, but then seeing that dynamic in the military community just right up the road, what was kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, so
Kind of seeing.
it's interesting how that all ties together because you being you having served in the Air Force, being the head coach there, and then Da taking over after you,
Mhm.
him being, I'm assuming he's in the Air Force as well. You guys were working together, so
Well, he was a civilian. He
oh
served a long time ago, so he's still, but granted,
yeah, but he's a
military.
veteran,
Yeah, veteran military service, has an ID card on base all the time. So yeah.
right? So the head coach that followed you was a veteran. Frankie, who is the president of the club, his parents were veterans, right? Or his dad was, right? Because
Yeah, his dad was.
he was in Kansas for a long time. So like there's a heavy American influence, a heavy veteran influence. Although most of the players I would say are either A, not American, or B, not military, but you still do have some American, or you had some American military members on there. You had
Mhm.
at least at the camp, you had some high school kids, American high school kids on base, coming to the camp to to join us. The military presence is definitely real and it's felt. Um, Even from the cool thing is, it's not always when you're on that base, it's not just American military. It's
Mhm.
everybody. There's people from all different countries that are interested in football or have tangentially heard of it or want to learn more and just come and talk to you about it. Because you got guys and girls from Poland and Sweden and all kind. Everybody in NATO, somebody's representing another country on that base, and it's a really cool time.
Yeah, definitely fun.
So, all right, we are right at an hour. I appreciate you. Like I said, leave those comments in the box below. Let us know what you think about Ryan Grubb. Let us know if you're gonna see us overseas while we're over there. We're gonna try to get some film and stuff of how that goes and get those up on our channels. We're supposed to be back in 2 weeks, but that's gonna be dependent on Pops' schedule. Like I said, he's trying to bolster our football team here with these 8th graders that are coming to visit the school tonight. Hopefully we can pick up some more so we can get our numbers up too. We're trying to get our numbers up here in Plano, Texas, and in Mons, Belgium. So until then, we'll see you next time. Get out of here.